Have you ever looked at a cheap auction car and thought, there's no way that thing makes it home? Well, that's exactly what we decided to test. We flew all the way out to Mecum, surrounded by millions of dollars in muscle cars, exotic cars, rare classics, and dream machines. But instead of chasing six-figure cars, we had one mission: find something fun for around $5,000, buy it on the spot, and drive it nearly 400 miles home. No trailer, no support truck, no backup plan. Just us, an old sports car, and a very long highway. And honestly, this might have been one of the biggest gambles we've ever taken. The moment we stepped onto the auction grounds, it felt like stepping into car heaven. Everywhere we looked, there was something insane. A gorgeous Ferrari 308 shining under the lights. A purple and blue custom build that looked like it belonged in a movie. A 427 powered classic with aftermarket wheels, upgraded rear disc brakes, and enough attitude to wake up the whole building. Then there were the icons. A Hemi Cuda, a beautiful Bronco, a first-generation Ford pickup, even an Eleanor-style Mustang, sitting there looking absolutely perfect at me. Every few steps feels like another dream car, and that's what makes it dangerous. Because it's easy to show up with a budget and completely lose your mind. Our plan was simple: find the most interesting car we could buy for around $5,000. Something fun, something risky, something we'd actually want to drive, and most importantly, something that could maybe survive a long road trip home. As the auction kept moving, cars rolled across the block one after another: Pontiacs, Cadillacs, Turbo, Transams, Convertibles, classic trucks, modern performance cars. And then we saw it: a 2001 Audi TT, convertible, silver, clean body, sharp lines, classic or LE 2000s, sports car styling. Obviously, it still looked cool. Even after 25 years, the TT still has that timeless shape that turns heads. Then we heard the mileage: only 66,000 miles. That got our attention fast. Low miles. Arizona. Car all-wheel drive, turbocharged, 4-cylinder, and the best part: 6-speed manual. Now this was getting interesting. This wasn't just cheap transportation. This could actually be fun. The bidding started, the numbers moved quickly: 4,000, 40-500, and then $5,000. Sold. Just like that. We owned a silver 2001 Audi TT convertible. And suddenly, the real challenge began. Buying the car is the easy part. The scary part is always what happens after the auction. Because now, it's yours. Every weird noise, every warning light, every hidden issue, that's all on you now. We walked over to the Audi for the first real inspection, and first impressions were honestly pretty solid. The interior looked surprisingly clean. The seats still had that classic Audi fit and finish. The dash design had that simple German look. Everything felt compact, sporty, and driver-focused. Then, we popped the hood. And there it was. The little turbocharged 4-cylinder, 5 valves per cylinder, classic early Audi engineering. It looked clean. No obvious leaks. No strange smells. No loose parts hanging around, at least visually. This thing looked promising. But auction cars always have a way of humbling you. And this one didn't wait long. We jumped in, got ready to leave, and almost immediately hit our first problem. It ran out of gas. Completely, right there before we even made it out. And if you've ever been to a major auction, apparently this is way more common than you'd think. The cars spend so much time moving around the grounds that many of them are basically running on fumes by the time buyers pick them up. Now imagine this. It's nearly 100 degrees outside. Blacktop is cooking. The sun is brutal, and we're sitting in a silver Audi convertible that just died because it's empty. Not exactly the dream start. Thankfully, the Mecum crew came through and brought over a gallon of gas so we could limp it to the nearest station. Problem number 1 solved. But in the back of our minds, the real question was starting to grow. What else is wrong with this thing? Because if it can surprise you with something this quickly, what's waiting 100 miles down the road? We filled it up, checked the tires, did one last walk around, and finally pointed the Audi toward home. This was it. The 400-mile test. No turning back now. The first few miles were honestly a surprise. The Audi felt light, tight, responsive, little turbo. Motor pulled better than expected. The 6-speed manual made the whole car feel alive. And once we got out onto the highway, it settled into a really comfortable rhythm. For a 25-year-old car, it actually felt solid. No weird vibrations. No overheating. No smoke. No warning lights. Nothing dramatic, which almost made it more nerve-wracking. Because when you buy an old sports car at auction, you're almost waiting for something bad to happen. Every sound becomes suspicious. Every bump makes you wonder. Every fuel stop turns into a mini inspection. We kept listening, watching, waiting, but mile after mile, the TT just kept going. And honestly, it started becoming way more fun than we expected. There's something special about cheap cars like this. Nobody expects much from them, but when they surprise you, it makes the whole experience better. The turbo spool, the manual shifts, the top-down highway. Cruising the way, the sunlight hit the silver paint. It started feeling less like a gamble, and more like we may have accidentally scored. Still, the tension never really leaves, because once you're hundreds of miles from the auction, every decision matters. Do you push it harder? Do you stay conservative? Do you stop more often? Do you trust the gauges? That's what makes these road trip auction videos so addictive. The audience is always asking the same thing. Will it make it? And honestly, so were we. Somewhere along the route, we had that classic moment every car enthusiast loves. Pulling up next to another sports car, in our case, a Porsche. And immediately the question hits, which one's faster? Now obviously, the Porsche had the pedigree, the reputation, the power, advantage, but there's something hilarious and satisfying about putting a $5,000 auction Audi TT next to a much more expensive sports car, because in that moment, price almost doesn't matter. The fun is what matters. The story is what matters. And our story was getting better with every mile. As the sun started dropping and the miles piled on, we kept waiting for the Audi to remind us it was still a German convertible, but it never really did. No breakdowns, no roadside repairs, no overheating. Drama. No check engine light. Nothing. Just smooth cruising. At this point, the biggest surprise wasn't that we bottomed. The biggest surprise was how normal the drive felt. That's rare with cheap auction cars. Usually there's some kind of catch, but this one just kept proving itself. And honestly, that might be the biggest lesson here. Sometimes the cheap car nobody noticed us turns out to be the best experience of the trip. By the time we got close to home, the trip meter was showing nearly 370 miles completed, and the Audi was still driving like it wanted more. That final stretch home is always the most satisfying part, because the challenge changes. At first it's excitement, then it's anxiety, then it becomes confidence, and by the end, it feels like victory. We pulled in, shut it down, and just sat there for a second. No tow truck, no drama, no disaster. The little Audi TT actually did it. A $5,000 Mecum Auctions sports car, 25 years old, nearly 400 miles, and it made it home without a single real issue. That's honestly impressive. So what started as a cheap gamble at one of the biggest car auctions in America turned into one of the most fun and surprisingly successful car adventures we've had. And that's why these challenges are so addictive, because every cheap auction car tells a story. Some stories end on the side of the highway. Some end with blown engines. And once in a while, you get one like this, the underdog that actually wins. So if you've ever thought about flying out to an auction, buying something cheap, and taking the risk of driving it home, do it. Because even if it goes wrong, it'll probably still make a great story. And if it goes right, you might just end up with the most memorable car you've ever bought. So here's the real question for you. Would you trust a $5,000 auction Audi TT for a 400-mile drive home? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more crazy auction car gambles, cheap sports car rescues, and long-distance drive home challenges, make sure you subscribe, because next time, we might push the budget even lower and the risk even higher.